you will not only change yourself. Derek, I'm a firm believer. You were born to change the world, my friend. You know, so if you hold on to that seed and let that thing inside of you blossom, you will change the world. So that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, to give people hope. And that's what that quote was about, so that people could stay focused on what the future holds for them and stop looking at the past. You know, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? What would you do? And if you knew that, Derek, you would not have time to let your history disrupt your destiny.
Now, is there a book coming out with that? Oh, my goodness.
You know what? I might have to do that now that you mention it.
You have to do that. Wait a second, I can do that. That is a powerful message. And I just want to go into something real quick, because I was telling my wife about this. This is amazing. I was on Facebook. I get this message from someone I really don't even know, right? And in the message they said, now that you're living for Christ, I'm like, okay. So they're trying to tell me, you know, that I didn't always live for Christ. But okay, why would you? First, you don't really know me that well, and then you're trying to bring me back to the fact that I didn't always know Christ. I'm like, isn't that something? Right. When you made that comment, people bring up your history. Yeah, I know I wasn't the the most wholesome person in the world. I understand that. But golly, if you don't know me, just to bring it out like that is amazing. So
bring up my night.
I just had to
never my day
story.
But bring up my night seasons. They want to show you your nighttime, show you at your worst, your lowest, when you used to hug the commode, when you used to go out and party. Remember that time you had the lampshade on your head? Yeah, wonderful. That's great. Yeah, great. And people like that, though, Derek, are just telling you, they're advertising you. I'm small-minded. I'm petty. I'm insignificant. So when people tell you, as Maya Angelou says, when people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them.
Brother.
You're ignorant. Bye.
I want to get into some unusual stuff here, though. Because you've written 3 best-selling novels, okay? Then you transitioned into real estate and became in the top 3 in sales there. Now, how did you become a minister?
It's not very deep. God. It's not much more complicated than that. As much of a cliche as it sounds, Derek, I did not choose ministry. It chose me. See, I had this wonderful plan. I had a great plan. It looked good on paper. I wanted to write novels for a certain season of my life, and then I would build this real estate franchise, and I was going to build it and have it go through Florida and Alabama and Georgia. And but there comes a time in our life when God's designs for our life does not line up with our desires for our life. And when that happens, it always creates a conflict. Now, when you have a conflict with God, who do you think is going to win? I fought hard against this ministerial calling. It was not something. I was not the kid preaching. I was not the child saying, I had a cousin. We used to go out and kill animals, and not animals, but little things. I don't told too much. And he would bury them. He would bury a frog. He would bury whatever, a little insect, and he would have a little funeral for them. He loved it. It wasn't me. I was the one running from it. And so, because I come from a family of ministers, so it was like the last thing I wanted to do. But flash forward, I had built the business, living in a $500,000 home, life exactly where I wanted it. And God called me at what was the most inopportune time for me to be called into the ministry. But you know what? I ran from it. Derek. I didn't want it. But, there's an old play, I think it's Your Arm's Too Short to Box with God. And so that was a fight I was going to lose, but I was going to give it a try. But I tell you what, December the 5th, 2007 changed my life forever. Because on that date, I'll never forget it as long as I live, on that date at 5 a.m., I got an email from my fiancé saying, Tim, it's over. No warning, no arguments, it's over. 10 o'clock, same day, my son almost got expelled from school. 12 o'clock, same day, I had 5 figures taken out of my account. Okay, I was like a boxer on the ropes by the end of the day. 21 days later, my mother had a stroke, almost died in the car 12 inches from me. I had used the excuse to God, I can't leave Gainesville, Florida, because I got too much going on here. My family and my business is keeping me here. God let me know in no uncertain terms, guess what? You don't control it anyway. So, so when my mother got back her health, I prayed again and asked God, why Atlanta? You know, why do you want me to leave everything I know? I mean, I can do so much more work here, God. And besides, you know, Atlanta's like the notch in the Bible Belt. I mean, everything is in Atlanta. And God asked me a question, Derek, that I'll never forget. He said, do you really think everybody in Atlanta is saved? And at that point, I said, you know what? I surrender all. So I got rid of the house. I left the business. I said goodbye to family, and I said goodbye to friends. And within 8 months, I was here in Atlanta planting a church for God. So, no, it was not something that I chose at all. God absolutely, positively chose me.
Well, I tell you, you don't have a monopoly on running from God, because I tell you, majority of people who come on here have that same story. They knew God had already planted something in them. Even me, I knew many, many years ago. But, yeah, I was running for as long as I could.
Well, you know, the thing about it. Go ahead, I'm sorry. No, I was going to say the thing about it, I find this common in people that run for God. We sometimes we run because we're working in our own particular area of expertise. You know, if you look in the Bible, if you look at any of the prophets in the Bible, if you look at anybody who God used in the Bible, I never saw a moment in the Bible that God called anybody from the unemployment line. They were foresters. They were accountants. They were, you name it. They were fishermen. Nobody was sitting up saying, I need a job, and God said, yeah, okay, I can use you. No, God, if you won't work for yourself, why did God want you working for Him? Somebody talk to me. You won't work for yourself. You know, so in essence, when I was out there writing the novels, when I was out there on the road selling the novels, when I was out there building the businesses and doing these wonderful things, all I was doing was auditioning. It was a 40-year audition, and God said, "Okay, you got the role."
I just have to make this comment, you know, because this is God always. You're right. God takes people, business people, shows them a little bit of success, and then He utilizes them for Him. I mean, the best examples right in the Bible were the fishermen. And they said, "We know what we're doing. So throw it on the other side. Okay, now I'm gonna show you some success. Now, follow me." That's what He does. And you were very successful in selling novels and real estate. Showed you some success. Okay, now Tim, come with me.
Right. Right. I mean, the Bible is replete with people. Nahum, Nehemiah, Obadiah, all those prophets, Ezekiel, Daniel. These people are always doing something, and God said, "Okay, you passed the test. Now come work for me." And so what I find is that all those skills that I used as a novelist, as a real estate broker, et cetera, is helping me in this new endeavor. Go figure. That's how God rolls, though.
Wow. Now, I tell you, you're very successful in everything, so I know you had gifts. So, our show is about spiritual gifts. How have your particular spiritual gifts helped you become who you are today?
Well, I would say that like the last call, I have numerous gifts, I think, but I think the three major ones would probably be faith, leadership, and giving. Now, the strongest of my gifts would be faith, and it's the one that I use as a pastor, but also as a real estate broker. I mean, think about it. The real estate market has hit all-time lows. Why are agents still getting in their car, getting dressed every day to go to work? Because of faith. Nothing but faith. The market is terrible, but today, matter of fact, as we were talking, somebody is signing a listing agreement to sell their house. Why? Because of faith. They know the market is terrible, but they do it because of faith. Now, the Bible teaches us that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. But my mama there put it a little bit different. She said, faith is taking a handful of nothing, squeezing it, shaking it until it becomes something. Now, I'm trying to inspire my realtors who work with me every day that's the clarion call for a business owner. You take what seems to be nothing, which is an idea or a thought, you squeeze it or develop it until it becomes something, and until it becomes something of value, and it manifests itself into something of value. And the second thing I use is leadership, and leadership requires a clear and concise vision. People will never follow you in business or as a pastor if you have no idea where you're going.